Hi everyone, welcome to the June Garden Tour. So it's been a couple of weeks since my last video, and today I thought it would be a great day to capture the garden as of the month of June and share that with you all. So let's take a look. As you can see, it's another beautiful day over here in Switzerland. The past couple of days and weeks actually have been really hot. However, we had rain last night, and that has been a much welcome humidity source for most of the plants. I'm going to start over here in the vegetable garden. You'd notice a few differences in that I harvested my onions and garlic, so the vegetable patch here at the front is now free of those two things, and I've brought in new vegetables. The kale that you see growing here, I have some broccolis. I transplanted a few of my cauliflowers here at the front as well because they weren't doing that well at the back. So right now this is what I have growing here at the front. There is a tomato coming up. You can see that my peppers are really tiny still. I don't know if they're going to yield any peppers this year because I feel like I'm a bit late with the whole thing. I have some lettuce growing here at the front as well that I added. They're doing really well. I've been harvesting already. So the vegetable garden, and this is my zucchini plant. Looking healthy. I have another tomato growing in that grow bag. I have a few onions still left here, and lots of kohlrabi, purple kohlrabi that I've chosen to grow this season. I started all of it from seeds, and it's growing pretty well. So there is the watermelon. It's also very slow growing. That is the red Russian kale, or is it the purple kale? I'm not sure. My bed of corn and strawberries is looking lush. We've harvested lots of strawberries already, and more are coming up or ripening every single day, as you can see. So this combination seems like a good one for now. We'll see how the corn grows, and then we can tell if it's something that I can recommend going forward. My mint bed here that I cut back really aggressively recently has come back in full force, so lots of mint growing here again, full. Here in the middle of the vegetable patch, I currently have dahlias growing underneath that fig tree. So I initially thought this was a low growing variety of dahlias. I received all of these dahlias as a gift from one of my friend's mom, and they were not labeled, so I didn't quite know what to expect. I thought they would be like medium sized to low sized dahlias, but I'm pleased to see how well they're doing here. We're going to have to wait and see when they start putting out flowers, buds. That one is going to open up pretty soon. So I used some tools in the garden to stake my dahlias. It's not it's not the prettiest staking that you can imagine. You just have to wait and see when they're a bit heavier with the blooms, how the whole staking, how it works, or if it works at all. So moving on now to the flower garden, I have already transferred most of my containers, so I have very few containers in the garden right now. But let's start by looking at the lavender hedges or the lavender bushes that I planted last season. You can see that they've grown really beautifully, and they're now blooming. They've started blooming, looking gorgeous, smelling really nice. Whereas this one here, which is an older hedge, the first one that I planted, I trimmed it back very late, pretty aggressively, and they're only now beginning to put on some stems on which they will grow the blooms. So that is yet, the blooms on these lavenders here by the vegetable patch are yet to come up. A few sunflowers going here as well. So this is one of the few containers that I have here in the front that is full of blooms, and it's the one that I have one of my rows of Sharon trees, which has now fully leafed out and probably already budding out somewhere. But underneath that, I have a beautiful variety of petunias and geraniums. I like the way this has filled up. It's looking really lush. So right next to that container is the lovely rococo rose that is still blooming, and I've cut a few stems of few blooms. I've pruned off a few blooms already that were done with the season, and I'm hoping that I'll see another flush of fresh blooms coming up. The chestnut tree has grown again, has fully leafed out, and is looking really full and lush and beautiful this season, and is providing much needed shade in this front garden. Moving on now to the mixed border here at the front. This is the phantom hydrangea, one of the three that I have here at the front. You see another one back there, looking gorgeous. And the final one is somewhere around there, back there somewhere. So all three are doing fantastic. And I think under here is the Switch Ophelia. This is the Switch Ophelia hydrangea, another a low variety of pinnacle hydrangea that I have growing underneath that phantom hydrangea. The peony is done blooming, and right in front of that you can see how much those echinaceas, how much the echinacea has grown. So they have buds already, and they're going to be blooming pretty soon, and that will help kind of mask the peony bush without blooms back there. And right next to that is another rose of Sharon bush. That one is supposed to give out white blooms, so it'll be interesting to see how that combination works out. So my foxgloves are kind of nearing to the end of their blooming season. They've done really well this past couple of weeks. Also loving the color combinations that I got. I wasn't sure what color they were going to be, but they had that purple lilac color on two, and the other one just had the white vanilla color. So really happy with all of that. This is the biggest of the phantom hydrangeas. I'm really looking forward to seeing that one in full bloom. It's going to look spectacular. And the gay feathers are also coming up. I have a feeling that they're a bit smaller this season. I don't know if I don't know why they look so different to what I remember last year. There is a purple fountain grass. More echinaceas growing here. This is the only agapanthus that I had in the garden this season, and it's also almost done now. I'll have to cut that back. The classic rose has now shot out 3 blooms, looking gorgeous. It's really tall. It grew really tall this season, and I have more buds. Okay, so I have a few buds there, and I think I'll have more blooms. You notice that this side of the border is a bit scanty because I removed the 2 hostas that were growing here. They were occupying so much space, so I moved them to over there, divided one of them, and that created this empty spot here on this end of the bed. But I have a few things coming up. I'm hoping that they'll grow and fill in nicely and occupy all that empty space that we now have here. So we'll just have to wait and see. Moving on now to the hydrangea border. Look at that. The hydrangea border is looking fantastic. at least on this side. This side is looking really well. With the Annabelle hydrangeas, they've grown so beautifully, so well. Really happy with how they've come up. This will be their second full season here, and really happy. I mean, there's still that chartreuse green color that they have at the beginning, but slowly, I think slowly we'll start seeing some white color coming up. Hopefully, going to be observing that. So the hydrangea border is looking good. I did put in one of the pink Annabelle that I had. This one is doing really well also in this border. And here again is another Switch Ophelia hydrangea. This one is in full bloom right now. It's going to turn into a pink color as the season progresses, but I'm loving this cream white color that it has right now as well. So the second half of that border is with the Limelight Pinnacle hydrangeas, and these are also looking gorgeous. I mean, I like the way they're growing. They're supposed to, they have all budded up and are going to be blooming in a few weeks time, looking full and lush, healthy. I however have a space that has just created itself here due to the way that the two varieties of hydrangeas are growing. So you see that empty spot there between the Annabelle hydrangeas and the Limelights, and my birth bath is not really centered anymore, so I'm going to have to fix that. I'll probably take out the birth bath and see how I can fill that gap with something else. All right, so now here I made a few changes. I decided to only go with less dahlias on this side. As you can see, I have one blooming already. That is the first dahlia to bloom in this garden this season. That is the pom-pom dahlia, a purple variety. Okay, so that is my first dahlia, and I have lots of pots already. So all the dahlias here are giant dahlias. Most of them are dinner plates. The same dahlias that I had last season. I didn't label them when I took them out. And as such, I cannot tell you exactly which one is which variety right now. But once they bloom, I'll be able to tell them apart. So I transferred some of the hostas here, and I love the way they've kind of complemented this space. So I think that was a good decision. These are the New England asters that are going to be blooming in fall. They came up pretty nicely this season. So that was it with the front yard part of the garden tour. I'm going to go now to the back and show you a little bit what we have going on at the back of the garden. So here at the back, the ground cover roses are now beginning to bloom. I think they'll look really pretty once they're all blooming, because they're all loaded with buds that are supposed to open up, and this place is going to look amazing. Complementing that is the lavender Angustifolia felice. I brought a few more bushes here, and I think the whole thing looks really nice right now. Back there, that is my pear tree, which has grown again this season. I might have to prune the lower set of branches underneath that pear tree. Now on this side of the backyard, the most amazing thing is this hedge or the bushes of the cedar Motum Joy, which are looking beautiful, fantastic. I love how everything has come together now. So this is the the sedum autumn joy that I divided and transplanted 2 winters ago, and look at how beautiful they look right now. So these are supposed to be blooming in a few weeks time as well. I'm not quite sure which variety of hydrangea this is. I think I've lost the tag on this, but generally all my hydrangeas are looking beautiful this season. They've really established themselves and they've all budded up and ready to present their show. Now I think I'm going to go here. So this is where I had the onions, the red onions, and I just harvested them and decided to put other things here. And here is the carrot container. They're looking really full already. So I just pulled one out to see what we should be looking forward to. It's a mixed variety that I have here this season, and that's not looking too bad. Once that reaches maturity, we're going to have a beautiful carrot harvest, I think. This is the asparagus row, and I see that if I really wanted, I could harvest a few more. Look at this. This is tender and nice. Oh my God. So these are my carrots growing in grow bags, and I've already harvested one bag. It was too early, but I just wanted to see what they look like. They're still edible, but they were not that big. So I have 3 more bags here and a few spread out around the garden. I also have some tomatoes here in grow bags, which are doing quite well. I didn't start as many tomatoes as I did last season. You see those peppers there? I should plant them, but I still have them there inside the container, the seedlings. I should plant those things. There is one that I've planted. And my sweet peas has also gone to seed. It's not looking that beautiful anymore. Don't have many petals left. This is the raspberry row. It is very full, I must say. They grew so beautifully, the raspberry. They're all full, loaded with fruits that are yet to ripen. So this was a great addition to the garden. Really happy with how they've turned out. So I think we'll have a beautiful raspberry harvest this season. See one there at the back. Another one here. This will be my favorite variety, the Dorman Red, which is loaded with buds, but they're not yet opening up. So they still have a few more weeks to go. And that will be the blueberry bush, the one that I combined with some strawberries, and which is loaded with tiny little blueberries. I think I should have taken out the strawberries because they seem to be, taking away all the nutrients from the blueberry, and the blueberries are just so tiny. Anyways, here I have a blackberry bush as well, which is also loaded with fruits. So that was it, people. This is the garden as of June of 2023. So thanks a lot for watching, and see you in our next one. Bye.